Hi, everyone. I'm Joanna Strasberg.
Hi, I'm Dan Curley.
Hi, I'm
Welcome
Norbert.
to, hi, Norbert. Welcome to Deep Conversations, episode 28. I want to welcome our special guest, Norbert Zimmermann. I want to welcome all of you who are watching with us. It's afternoon here in Virginia, and it's nighttime there in Germany where Norbert is. So I want to welcome everybody, give everybody a minute to kind of finish joining us. Um, so this is just kind of a special edition here. We haven't had an episode of Deep Conversations for a while, and it's really, really special to have Norbert with us. I know it's kind of late there. Um, so thanks, Norbert. How are you?
Great. I talked to you earlier. I was a little bit ill last week, but now I'm okay.
And you said you had
Good.
some rain there in Germany, right?
Yes, yes. We have
Is that
bad
pretty
weather here.
is that pretty typical for this time of year?
Yes, a little bit. Yeah, it's not fine.
Do you get a lot of snow there where you are? Is it very cold this time of year?
Now it's a little bit hot. We have
Is
18 degree now. Last 2 weeks ago we have snow, and now we
oh,
have
Heat
18
wave.
degree. It's crazy, absolutely crazy.
we've had a lot of snow and ice this year. Dan is in Chicago, so he's used to it, but I think
Yeah, not too much this year. Only one day of like 6 inches, I think, and then that was it. Kind of mild winter, very mild.
We have little bit more here.
really, what do you typically see, on average as far as snow? Do you see a lot?
No, the last year we have no snow here in winter, but
Really?
this year it was very much.
You
No,
made up for the lost time with the snow. That's what happened.
I'm ready for spring. I don't know who else is, but I am.
Oh yes,
Um,
me too, me too.
want to say hello to Thornston who's watching and Cicely. Hey guys. Um, and for those of you guys who are watching, I want to share something just in case you're not sure where Norbert is from. If I can find it, there it is. Here we go. All right, I'm not great with this kind of stuff, but he is from the Ruhr area. I don't know if I'm saying that right, Norbert, but the Ruhr
It's
area of Western Germany. Um, from what I found, it's significant because of the industrial capacity and the natural resources. What else can you tell us about where you're from?
Yes, I come from the rural area in Western Germany, in Duisburg. It's a very industrial city with we have steel here, uh, steel factories and so on. And but we are also a harbor city. We have the largest harbor here in Europe, i- um, inside harbor, not outside. And we have natural resources. It was coal.
So cool. All right.
Coal, yes,
Um, very cool. So you're like kind of nestled in between some rivers there, right?
yes. Rhine and Ruhr, yes, yes. And this is the
All
reason why
right.
we are a harbor city too.
Okay. So I hope that gives you guys some idea of where Norbert is. It's like very far away from where I
the
like all the way across the world. It's really neat that we have the technology to be able to talk real time. And it's really interesting how uh, we have this common interest in Titanic that brings us, together to talk about it. Just a world apart. And uh, I I work in a school. I'm sure you guys all know that. But I talk about Titanic a lot to the students, and I try to explain that to them that Titanic was full of passengers from all over the world. And I try to explain to them that people who are interested in Titanic, they're spread out all over the world, just kind of like the passengers were brought together in the Titanic. People who are interested in it are from all over the world as well. And I think that it's hard for people to understand sometimes that the Titanic is still bringing people together. And I think that's just really fascinating. Um, don't you think so, Norbert? I just find it just really fascinating. Um, I have Titanic friends in Germany and Europe, England and, you know, Chile and Bosnia. It's
I've
just,
even talked to some in Africa before. That's how far-reaching.
I have Titanic friends in Australia and New Zealand. It's crazy.
yes, it's crazy. It really is. And then I was reading one of your books today, and you're just reading the vast, you know, uh, differences, passengers from just all walks of life in all different countries, and they were, all just there in one place. Um, and so you became interested in Titanic about the time that the wreck was discovered, correct?
Yes, the wreck was officially discovered on my 15th birthday,
Wow.
September 1st, 1985, and I was 15 on this day, and this was the ultimate starting point. But the first time I've have a little bit contact with the Titanic topic was I was 7 or 8 years old. I saw the film with Stanwyck and Clifton Webb and Robert Wagner for the first time, and I was so fascinated about that, and but shocked because so many people died in that night. And I was 7 or 8 years old, and you here at the end of the film, 1,500 people died. It was for me a huge shock. And
Mhm.
this was the first time I've ever heard about the Titanic.
So these photos here are from Belfast, maybe a couple years apart. Um,
Yes,
but now, is that Wallace Hartley's violin there beside you?
yes, yes. It's in this photo was taken 2023 in Belfast. This is the violin from Wallace Hartley in the Museum Titanic
Wow.
Belfast. It's
That's something I've always wanted to
it,
see.
it is shown in the last room of the museum with wonderful music in the background, and it's so emotional when you visit this room. You see the violin and you hear the music. You broke up in tears, definitely.
Wow.
Um, I've seen some of this sheet music, and I believe the case, but the violin is something I've always wanted to see. And I've seen a lot of things, but that's definitely something I still want to see. So that must have been really, really amazing.
Yes, it
Um,
is. It is.
I'm sure. Okay, so we're gonna eventually get to all of your books, but um, you're an amazing author,
Thank you.
and you're very welcome. Thank you for sharing all of your wonderful, thoughts with us about the Titanic. And you must have put an amazing amount of research into all of the books that you have written over the years. Um, One of the things that strikes me is it must take an incredible amount of time and research to put out this kind of, you know, these kind of books. What do you think is probably, um, what do you find is the most useful resource for you when writing?
I've visited some archives for the books. I was multiple times in Belfast, here in Prony. It is a national archive in Northern Ireland. I was in Southampton in some archives and so on. And
Wow.
um, a very good source is also the Encyclopedia Titanica. It's very useful. It's great because many historians shared his um, knowledge on this site. It's very useful for some research, and I've read multiple newspapers from that time. It's hard work, and I it takes me for the third book nearly 4 years to finish it.
Wow.
Okay, so the third book, let's see. Um,
It's
let's, let me
no, the fourth book, not the third, the fourth book. Titanic is in English chronology of a disaster.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So the fourth book is this one.
No, this is yes, this is the fourth book. Yes.
This is the fourth book.
Yeah.
Um,
Wonderful book. I love
I
that book.
Thank
really
you.
love this
It was a dream for me to publish this book in English language,
one.
and I was so happy when I hold it in hands. When I published it, it's great. And now I have published 3 books in English. It's fantastic.
What
So
I've
I'll,
always loved about it, sorry, Joe, is the fact that it's both a reference book that you can go to specific parts, but it's just still a page turner
mhm.
every time you read it. You can't put it down.
Thanks.
And I have referred to it too, like I said, I give some presentations in a few classes that I help out in. I talk about Titanic, of course, and then Lusitania and stuff like that. But I do refer to this one sometimes when I am preparing for the Titanic presentation that I do for students. It is a good reference book because you have done such extensive research for it. Um, and it is so interesting. You do find fascinating facts that sometimes are not always referenced in other Titanic books. Um, and so I want to backtrack a little bit. Um, I found all of these books on Amazon, and some of them are they're in German, but if anybody's interested in getting these in German, you can still get them on Kindle. And I'm assuming that Google Translate can, help anybody who wants to read these in German and translate them, or buy them in German and translate them into English. Uh, so the first one, what can you tell me about the first book that you wrote? So this one was from 2011.
Yeah.
What was that first experience like? Writing your first book.
This is the second edition of my first book. I've published my first book in 2008.
Oh, 2008. Wow.
2008, and it was amazing to publish my first book. You can't imagine. It is wonderful. You hold your own book in your hand, and it's a wonderful feeling. And it was a long time I've wrote this book because I've very much work um, to do at that time, and I've write this book when I finished my personal work, and I've wrote this book in the evening after my legally work. But it was amazing to publish it.
Well, I apologize that I had the wrong date. Um,
It's
there were
okay.
certain websites. There were certain websites I could not pull up on my end because they were like German websites, and it would my firewall would not let me pull them up. So I did have like limited access, but I
I,
tried.
I can say you a little
Um,
bit about the cover. This is an original painting from David Haseman. It's
oh, it's beautiful.
Oh,
it's
Yeah.
David Haseman is a very good friend of mine, and
Oh,
he gave me this painting as cover for my book, and he was so happy to see his painting on this front cover. David and I are friends for 20 years now, and it's we have contact every time. And
now his mother's a Titanic survivor, correct? Edith?
yes, yes, his mother was Edith Haseman, nee Brown,
Mhm.
and she was 15
Mhm.
years old when she was on the Titanic, and she lost his father at that night, and she got 100 years old, and four months before she died, he visited the wreck site in 1996. She visits the wrecksite and wait a lead a wreath in the water for his father. And
Oh,
4 months later, she died.
oh, well, bless her heart. I did not know that he was an artist, though. How about that? That is a really beautiful cover.
Yeah,
Um, so the second book, this one, what
yeah.
does this word mean? Um,
Destiny,
the
destiny.
destiny. Oh,
Uh,
okay.
I mean the destiny of the passengers of the Titanic. They have the
Oh,
destiny to be on the Titanic. And this book is about surviving passengers of the Titanic, only surviving passengers from all classes and crew.
oh, oh. That must have been really interesting to write. And this is like my favorite, this is my favorite photograph ever of
Yeah,
the Titanic. I think it's beautiful.
yes,
I actually have a print of some artwork that Merrick Soleil. Are you guys familiar with Merrick Soleil?
Hmm.
yes,
Um, from
yeah.
Slovakia. I bought like a digital print, I guess, of his and had it blown up on a canvas. It's actually right here beside me, but it's
Hmm.
of this picture. It's my favorite Titanic image, I guess.
It's a
Um,
wonderful picture, yes.
it's beautiful. It's full of so much promise, of what could have been, I guess. Um, it just reminds me of, just the glory and the majesty of what was Titanic. It's just so beautiful.
Yeah.
And I love that you chose that for the cover of your book. It's just gorgeous. Um, what a wonderful book. I love seeing that it's written just about survivors. That's really pretty. What a nice.
I'm planning it to translate it in English.
Oh,
Yes, but I have no time in the moment to translate it. I have some
understand.
presentations and lectures in the moment, and I have not the time to translate it. But I think in the future I will translate this book in English.
Oh,
Oh,
great.
well, I will definitely keep an eye out for that if you do,
Yeah.
because I would definitely try to get that one for sure. Um, all right, so that brings us to this one. I don't know how I missed this one in the English translation, but it's probably one I'll get in the future. Um, so this is the second sinking of the Titanic.
Yes.
And you said it's controversial. Why is that?
Yeah, because in this book I explain the wreck discovery of the Titanic, what really
Hmm.
happened at that
What
time,
really?
that Dr. Robert Ballard not discovered the Titanic because the British Navy discovered it in 1977. And I have the open letter from P.H. Narjole in this book. He
Hmm.
has written an open letter to Ballard in 2004, I think. And he mentioned, Ballard, you are not the discoverer of the Titanic. It was the British Navy in 1977. And it was a very controversial letter. And but this open letter is now nearly forgotten. And I bring it back to public, and I've asked PH Najoli in 2012. I've wrote him a letter. Can I use your open letter for my newest book? And he gave this okay. He's okay for this, and for the translation of his open letter. And I've published it, and I have many problems after I published the book. um, because I have the opportunity to make a little bit publicity for my book, and I've published an article in a online newspaper, and 2 hours later, I received an email from this newspaper, sorry, and from the chief director, and he told me, yeah, we must put your article from the website because we received an anonymous phone call, and you are a liar, a cheater, and you ignored some copyrights and so on. I was totally shocked. And then I will put my telephone and make a phone call, and we have a long conversation. And after the conversation, they put the article back on the website. It was a little bit strange. And this was the first time I have seen, oh, you have some problems with this book.
Well, I will have to make a point to get this one because I like we were talking beforehand, I had heard something similar to that effect too. So um I would like to read that. And I'm very disappointed I didn't get to meet P.H. Narsley. I heard he was just a very polarizing, uh, interesting person, but also a nice person. So, and I did read his book. I have the French edition and I have the English translation.
Mm.
Um, it was fascinating. It really was. Um, I feel like you almost kind of get to understand him, once you read that book. It, I really enjoyed reading it. Um,
He was a true legend in the Titanic community, and I was so shocked
Mm.
because of the Titan tragedy. And yes, it was very sad.
Want to say hello to Polly Carr, who's watching. Hello, Polly. Um,
Hello.
and yeah, it was that was just a tragedy. It really was.
Oh,
Um,
yes.
I think all of us who were, watching that whole thing unfold, knew that the, search and rescue was kind of, you know, unnecessary. You know,
Yes.
Mm.
it was very sad.
Uh, I,
Um,
th I think this operation was only for public. They
mhm.
know
Mm.
they knew that they have an implosion, and this
'Cause I
was the
think
only reason.
isn't the explanation that it was like a classified technology they use, or that they heard the implosion on, I heard was like classified.
Yeah, that's true.
There was something going on, but yeah. Um, anyway, moving right along before we say too much.
Mm.
So this
Yeah, yes, you're right.
we'll talk about that later privately. Um, this book is just amazing. So I have the English translation, so does Dan. And we both have a lovely signed copy. And we were talking about this. We both ordered ours directly from you, Norbert.
Yeah,
And we
I
have a
know.
lovely signed edition. And we were like, how did we do that? And I was like, well, it was back in the day before international shipping was ridiculous. Um, so so it did not cost that much to get this sent to us from you in Germany. Now I'm afraid it would cost an arm and a leg. Um,
Both
but
arms and both legs.
both arms. Maybe someday it won't cost that much anymore. But anyway, this is just a wonderful book. And if our friends who are watching can get a hold of one of these, it's just absolutely fantastic. I believe they're still available on Amazon. They're definitely still available through the Kindle app on Amazon. It's just fantastic. Um, so what inspired you to write this one? This was just fantastic.
Yeah, this was, as I said it before, this was the book I write 4 years on this book. And I want to publish a book with the entire story on it, from the
Mhm.
planning and the maiden voyage, and about the passengers, the stories of the passengers, the tragic stories, and so on. I have the story of the Titanic centenarians on it, because five
Mhm.
ladies growing up over 100 years. I've made a lecture about these ladies in Belfast 2024 during the BTS convention in Belfast. It was fascinating. And at the end of the book is the entire passenger list
If you
is the entire
look at the
passenger list,
passenger.
uh,
Mhm.
the entire passenger list. And it was hard work, very hard work.
And you've got your sources back here too. So if anybody wants to look up, these sources or these books and check those out too, you can. Yeah, they can do that too. This is just a great book. I love it. Um, so that brings us to the new, no, all right. We just talked about this one. Wait a minute, I went backwards. Women in Machinery. I'm sorry. Okay, so that brings
Yeah.
us to the new book. Don't laugh, India. The new book, and I was really intrigued by this one, and I'm going to get, the hard copy of it eventually. I just hadn't had a chance to do it yet. But I do have the Kindle edition, which I've been reading, and it's just amazing. Which I just love this one from beginning to end. Um, I just okay, hold on, let me pull it up on my phone. The first third class passenger that you talk about, which I love this. His name is Leo Zimmermann.
Yes, it's a German
Um,
third class passenger.
just love that. And I was like, oh wow. So no relation, right? Did you share?
It could be possible because some of my own family members lived in the same area as Leo Zimmermann lived. And I know that two brothers of him immigrated to Canada, into Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. And I know from my only family tree that we have family members in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. But it
Oh,
could be possible that we are related, but I'm still searching about that. But it could be possible.
So this is like first of all, you had it published on April 14th, 2025. And
Yes.
I don't know how you managed that, but that is so neat. Um, and then there are not that many books out there published that are just focused on Titanic's third class, which I think that that remembered these people, and a lot of the names mentioned in your book, you don't hear very often. I mean, we do hear about the Attic Rule 14, and I am glad that you did go into such detail about them, because they need to be talked about. But I had never heard about Leo Zimmerman, and
mm-mm.
I really enjoyed hearing about that. And not everybody that you talked about had a tragic ending. Many of them did, but I love that you put in, the survivor stories as well. Um, and that you followed through with, this person, but then also the people surrounding them, and what happened to them, and followed them all the way through, you know, the rest of their lives. If they made it to, America, or if they went back to their homeland, and when they died, and how long they lived, and how many children they had. Get You guys have got to get this book. It's really, really good. And like I said, I got the Kindle edition, and I'm glad I did, because um, I was not expecting this. It's full of these wonderful photos. A lot of them are from your personal collection, Norbert. And uh, I was just not expecting that. And they're not just black and white photos. A lot of them are color photos. And you just don't see that a lot with Kindle books. I was not expecting it. Um, and that's just so cool. Um, so here are the English translations and their publication dates. But you guys have got to get this book. I'm going to stop the share right there. Um, so what made you decide to write about the third class passengers?
Yes, it's a little bit. It's a little story. I am the historical advisor for a Titanic musical, the Broadway musical here in Germany.
Hmm.
First, it was the premiere in Osnabrück, and now it is in Mönchengladbach. And at the premiere in Osnabrück, it's now 3 years ago. I've met a person, a direct descendant of Katie Gilneck.
Oh,
He was involved
Oh,
in the production of the musical, and we have a long conversation. And she said to me, please write a book about the third class passengers. The stories must be told. I've said some years ago, the fourth book was my last Titanic book, and I will never write a Titanic book again. And And after this long conversation with this wonderful lady, I've decided for me, okay, I've I write a book about the third class passengers, and I started research, and I have an interesting point about Leo Zimmermann. um, it was completely unknown that he was original. He had original was booked on the Olympic 1 week before,
Mhm.
and I'm in the British Titanic Society, and I've got a phone call from Clive Swedingham, and he said to me, Norbert, I found a passenger list of the Olympic with Leo Zimmermann, this name on it, and then she sent me this passenger list, and I was so fascinated. 1 week before, this was nobody knows that, and I was the first historian that published this information, and it was so amazing. Nobody knows it before.
And you still don't know exactly why he was on the passenger list for the Olympic, right?
Yes, and his name was crossed out.
Yeah.
I know William Carter. You know William Carter. His Renault was in the cargo room, and he was on the booked on the Olympic too
Hmm.
1 week before. But nobody knows why they traveled with the Titanic.
That's that is just really interesting.
That
I mean, do
is
you think
weird.
I heard that they shifted some passengers around because of the coal strike, but
Yeah.
that was only like if they, actually canceled a passage. I mean, like a whole um, passage, right?
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
So it
mm.
wouldn't have been because of that. Um, I'm looking right at that photo from the book. That is really interesting. Um, I don't know. I mean, I wonder if it's something that he did.
Mm.
Decided to leave a week later. Who knows?
Yeah, it could be possible. Yes. The cold strike was still 1 week before. Yes, it was ended uh, 9th April or 8th April. I don't know exactly.
I'm
Then there was
wondering
just
if
It
they
was
did
shortly.
it to.
It was shortly before the Titanic had his maiden voyage. It was shortly before.
I'm wondering if it had something to do with because Titanic wasn't at full capacity. I'm wondering if they said we got to get more people on
mhm,
Titanic, so maybe they offered something or
like offered an
like
incentive
some
to
sort of
travel a
perk or
week later,
incentive to
or
switch to the Titanic. So it
Yeah,
didn't seem.
there's the same as the passengers from the Philadelphia. They booked the passengers from the Philadelphia to the Titanic.
Mhm.
mhm,
Yes.
I don't know. That's really interesting. Um, I don't know, but it sure is. He's just crossed right off there. I don't
Yeah.
know. That is really interesting. What an interesting find, though. There are so many mysteries, surrounding the Titanic. People ask me all the time, why are you so interested in the Titanic? Why is it still relevant? And I'm like, why not? It's a huge part of history that touches so many things. And then, um, there's so many mysteries surrounding it. And that's just one of them.
Yes.
They'll never be answered. um, and you talk about so many interesting people in your book. I don't want to give it away because people need to buy it and read it themselves. Um, but in so many just human dramas, and like I said, there are tragedies in this book and triumphs, and people need to buy it and read it because and okay, I will address this because it's not something that I've read before. Okay. In the beginning, you talk about a lot of the eyewitness accounts to the third class passengers who were coming up from third class to the upper decks to get onto the lifeboats. Um, some of these accounts I had not seen before. Um, so especially the ones by the doctor. Um,
Washington Dodge, yes.
yes, about the shootings. Um, that's really interesting. Um, the the shooting of the shootings of the third class passengers. Um, because that's something that's long been debated. And according a lot of the quotes from this doctor, you know, seem to be his eyewitness account that several third class passengers were basically shot. That's controversial.
I
It
know.
really is. It really, really is.
And when I found this testimonies and I have the conversation with Simon Matters, he published it in his book too, this testimonies, and I was shocked because you are right, it's very controversial, very. And
Um, wow.
we all know that Harold Lowe
Hmm.
um, put
Hmm.
his pistol, but not
Into
to
the
the passengers.
distance.
Yes, in the distance, not to the passengers. But it existed some testimonies about the shootings, and it's very difficult to find out what the reality was.
Hmm.
In the newspaper at the time, they created their own stories,
Yes, they did.
and
Hmm.
the first newspapers that were published about the Titanic tragedy were published April 16, April 17th, and they they told in their newspapers about the tragedy, but they can't know because the Titanic passengers were still on the Carpathia,
Yeah.
and they created their own stories, and some myths at that time are still in the at still live at the moment.
Yes. It's interesting. I mean, you at the time you couldn't trust, even firsthand accounts, or I mean, people would say things that were sensational just so that they could be published. Uh, but some of these quotes were, supposedly from um I see Dr. Washington Dodge's, his was from the San Francisco Bulletin and stuff like that. I mean, and at the time you had like yellow journalism and
Hmm.
muckrakers and stuff like that. I don't know. People would say anything to, make a buck, I
But
guess.
also we have to think about it with everybody thinks it was just the main officers that had guns. There were more guns.
Yeah,
And also too, I think I'm not 100% on this, but not many of the bridge crew were in sinkings before. Lightaller was in a sinking before.
yeah,
And look, he ended up surviving, by the
Okay.
skin of his teeth, but he ended up surviving. So I think what a lot of someone might have lost their nerve and started shooting. Who knows? I mean, Lowe knew enough to fire the warning shots
yes,
into the distance out of safety. He at least had something, and also too, Lowe, if you think about it, was one of the more naval knowledgeable officers when he was the only one that put the sail up on his lifeboat. So him and
Yeah.
Lightaller being the two of the survivors, and also it makes an interesting point that perhaps one that didn't survive or another officer could have been like holy cow and started shooting and poor innocent people in the chaos. But again, like you guys were saying, there's so much to sift through with
Hmm.
people publishing. I mean, Rostron didn't even let the president of the United States know who was
Mhm.
on the ship. So I mean,
Yeah.
there's so much you have to sift through and dig, but
And we don't know.
controversial, but I could see it being possible just from human instinct.
And it
Yes.
might not have been passengers, like you said. It could have been, other passengers who just kind of fell apart at the end.
Hmm.
Mm.
You
And
never know.
and at the end, it was absolutely panic on boat deck, on the
Hmm.
boat deck. The
Yeah,
lifeboats were gone, and I think the shootings take place.
you know, uh, again, that's just part of the mystery that,
Hmm.
Yes, yeah.
uh, no, nothing was noted with a
I will
bullet.
nothing blame because of the shooting. I will nothing blame.
Yeah.
Definitely
Hmm.
not.
But none of the bodies who were recovered, nothing was noted as far as bullet wounds or anything. But again, you know, uh, uh, about what 1,100 bodies were never recovered.
Hmm.
So, I mean, that's a pretty large percentage that, you have no,
And
uh,
which ones had life belts on? Because I bet a lot of the officers didn't have life belts on.
Yeah,
right. I mean, it's very intriguing. I mean, it really is. Um, just that's really interesting. Um, I was reading all that and I was like, oh my. Um, but you don't want to think about that, but you never know how people will act, in desperation when they realize, that this is it, they're not
yeah,
going to survive. Um, uh, because they see the lifeboats are gone and there's just
yeah.
nothing.
And
Um,
in my book, as I said it was for the third class passengers. It the huge problem to get to the lifeboat
Hmm.
and to the boat deck, and so many of them came too late on the to the boat deck. The lifeboats were gone, and they have so many problems to get to the boat deck because some of them speaking no English,
mhm.
understand no English, and they need a person that say to them what they have to do. But
Exactly.
nobody came.
Exactly. And I hate to like compare things to a game, but if anybody's ever played Titanic Adventure Out of Time, if you get stuck down in third class, nothing is marked. Nothing.
Yes.
Um, you know, so you're just wandering around down there in Scotland Road, you know, and you open a door, it goes nowhere. You open another door, it goes nowhere. You open another door, it goes nowhere.
Yeah.
Um, and so I can understand, they're just lost, and like you said, nobody's there to tell them what to do. I think I read in your book, like one officer came down there to take a group up. And so he did get a group up of third class passengers up, and he went back down to get another group, and was never seen again,
Yes.
probably because it was too late. Um, and, you know, and were the gates locked? Were they not locked? Were there gates? Were there not gates? Um, that's debatable because, some people say they weren't gays, some people say they were. Um, I don't know. But like you said, there's a language barrier.
Yes.
And it was just a maze down there. Um, and they're used to people, telling them where they can and where they can't go. Um,
I
I
like
don't,
the scene from the Cameron movie. You will see this Arabian passenger from the
Mm.
third class. He's
Yes.
standing in front of the
Hmm.
with
and
this book trying to
Going through the
translate.
oh,
translation
okay,
book.
this translation book, and I think many people must use their translation books.
Yeah. And they figured it out far too late, and that's just so sad. And I read in your book too, people
Hmm.
just, kind of resign themselves because of their position, that they were just going to stay where they were. And that's just so sad. Um, I mean,
Uh,
it's just terribly sad.
yeah, and the huge families with 8 members.
Hmm.
The Goodwin family, or
Mhm.
Margaret Rice with her 5 children and so on. There's no chance with so
Hmm.
many children,
Mhm.
small children, or the Asplund family and so on, and Alma Paulson with 4 children, and they all died in the sinking. They had no
Mhm.
chance to survive.
Um, oh, I hate to even think about it. I really do. Um, but then when I talk to students too, uh, in school, I try to tell them because I try to relate it to things in our curriculum at school. And I explain to them about the Gilded Age and the Edwardian period, and I talk to them about J.P. Morgan because we relate J.P. Morgan to so many things as far as our financial uh, system in the United States. And then I talked to them about the three-party class system. And I try to help our students understand that, first, second, third class, um, it didn't matter how much money you had or didn't have, that all three classes died, the same way beside each other.
Yes.
More third class, unfortunately. But at the end of the day, like Guggenheim and the Strausses, they died just the same as the third class passengers. And I said, I always explain to people, that it doesn't matter how much money you have, that your life is still valuable no matter what. Um, and that a tragedy like the Titanic or like 9/11, your life is still valuable, and that it doesn't matter if you are a billionaire or if you are you know somebody who doesn't have anything at all. uh you know a life is still a life. And I think that that's so sad here, the third class passengers, who were traveling with everything they had, to start a new life. So many of them just didn't make it. But then again, the richest people in the world, they didn't make it
Yeah, that's
either.
true.
So, it's just very sad. Um,
Especially for me, the story of the Edergool 14 is so sad.
oh
14
yeah.
people from the same area uh, boarded the Titanic, and only 3 survived. It is so
Mm.
sad. And they were very poor people from Ireland, and it's a very poor area in Ireland at that time. It is so sad.
It definitely is. I love this section. You dedicated a good chunk of this book to the Attical 14.
Yeah.
And I was reading through that today. You just kind of, I knew the story, but I just kind of wanted to refresh myself on it. Um, I would love to make it to Ireland someday to see, the memorial that they have for them. That's one of those bucket list kind of things. Um, have
I
you
have
been
the
there?
problem. I was invited to Edergool someday, because for me, as a historian, they invited me to come. But it's
Mhm.
at the same time when the convention of the British Titanic Society takes place. It's and I didn't made it to Edergool, but I have still contact with the Edergool Titanic Society, and they
Mhm.
helped me a little bit to make this chapter of my book.
Speaking of, since you mentioned you're a historian, let's look at our slideshow a little bit more. All right. Oh,
Ah,
your book has been reviewed in several magazines. This is just one that I remember seeing recently. Um, so it's gotten quite a few favorable reviews, as it should have. Here you are signing.
yes.
Uh, I'm sure you signed lots of things, but there you are signing.
This was last year during the convention of the German Titanic Society.
Um, Oops, I didn't mean to go that
Oh,
far.
Woo!
Uh, Again, women and machinery do not mix.
This is a fine picture.
Um, and then you've had many articles posted, published. This one is in the Atlantic Daily Bulletin.
Yeah,
But I've seen many of your articles posted um, in many, many, many different magazines. So congratulations on that.
thank you.
This one is what about the nomadic? Is that right?
Yes,
Um, and have
yeah,
you've seen the nomadic before, correct? In
yes. I-
Belfast?
I've seen the nomadic in the first time I've seen the nomadics. She lying in Paris in
Oh,
2001. I was with my wife in Paris, and
Oh, cool.
we going around the Seine and find the nomadic. It was amazing. And the second time I've seen the nomadic was 2017, 16 years later in Belfast.
wow. Had
Uh,
they
the-
had they restored it at that point when you
yes,
saw it?
yeah, it's amazing to see the nomadic. You can
Mhm.
go inside now, and the last year, the nomadic became new refreshment. And
One day.
yes, and I will see the nomadic in 2 months when I visit Belfast again, and I
Lovely.
go on board
Lucky.
the nomadic.
Want to say hi to Michael who's watching. Hi, Michael. Michael Standard. Um, well, it's just beautiful. I'd love to see that someday. Let's see what else. Okay, so and you're a Titanic historian. I love this photo. That's just amazing. So Titanic historians are always teaching and always learning. So here are some photos of you giving different presentations in various places, which I'm sure you do all the time. Um, and I'm sure you do an amazing job. And then you are the European coordinator for the British Titanic Society. Um, and you guys are getting ready to have your annual event in April.
Yeah,
And
in,
this
in
is
Cove.
in Cove. That would be wonderful. And then Commodore Ronald Warwick, who is the president of the British Titanic Society, he actually wrote the foreword for your newest book.
Yeah.
I'm sure that was quite an honor.
Oh
Uh,
yes. He's over the years a good friend of mine.
mhm.
He's a very nice person. Very nice person with a fantastic knowledge about the Titanic and the entire ship industry and ships. It's amazing.
Oh, great.
So we see some familiar faces here. It says John White
Yeah,
and David Scott Bedard
yeah,
and Peter Cook. I think I've seen him in a couple of events here in the U.S.
yeah. He is our US coordinator.
um, see who else we have. We have I have covered everything up. Peter Cook, Clive Sweetington, you, it's Kim. What's her
Kim
last name?
Swedingham, yes, and Nigel Mumford, yes.
All right, very nice.
It was last year in Liverpool during our convention.
Oh, very nice. Nice looking group of people there. All right.
And it was before the gala dinner. We are all
Oh,
dressed for the
I
gala
was gonna
dinner.
say you guys are all very dressed up.
Yeah, yeah,
All right. And so this year it's in Cove.
yeah,
Um, that'll be really that's during the what second week of April, right?
yes.
Very
From
nice.
from
Very
April
nice.
9 until April 12. Yes.
Oh.
I think we've
Yeah.
mentioned it a couple times on the 401. That's our late night show.
And after the convention, I travel via train from Cove to Belfast this year,
Oh,
and then I visit the Belfast celebrations
Oh,
because
nice. Well,
I'm a member of the Belfast Titanic Society too, and now this year it will be a wonderful trip, I think.
oh, well, I'm looking forward to seeing those pictures then.
Yes, I travel
Always,
with some descendants of the Titanic. We have much fun.
I'm sure. I'm sure that all the
slightly
pictures look
jealous, slightly jealous.
um Well, maybe we'll make it there one day, right? Right,
Yeah.
Ian? We'll see.
Maybe, definitely.
Mhm.
I don't know if you guys are ready for this. Um, but I do like seeing everybody have a good time. That is great. I love seeing um the camaraderie and the friendship that's formed between everybody. That's great. Um, so very good. Um, but let's see. So do you have any new books in the works, Norbert?
Not in the moment, uh,
No.
but it could be possible that I translate my second book in
Yes.
Ooh,
English. Yes, but a new book is not in the making now. It could be possible. I told the story about my last book.
Hmm.
Maybe I can publish a new book, but not in the moment. Not in
Now,
the
which
moment.
book was it that you said that you published in honor of your father? You were telling us?
Yes, it was.
I think this one, wasn't it?
Is it
Yes,
chronology?
it was published on March 15th. Yes, my father died at March 15th,
Oh,
1983, and I published it in honor of my father in
that's very.
2021. And it was very emotional to make this.
Hmm. Well, that's very kind of you. I'm sure your dad would be very proud. Um, so I see, not to switch gears so fast, but I see a lot of things behind you that are
Uh,
Titanic related. Um,
Yes,
Dan and I, we collect things. And it looks like you might collect things.
a little
What are
bit.
some, a little bit, um, what are some of your favorite things in your Titanic collection?
Favorite things. Oh, I have some coal from the Titanic. I have original wood from the Olympic.
ooh, me too.
Yeah, and I have see. Wait a moment. Wait.
Be funny if none of that stuff was Titanic related.
This is my newest accusation.
Ooh,
I'm looking
Oh,
a long time for that, and now it's in my possession.
beautiful.
Yeah, and I have some replica in my showcase.
Mhm.
China from first class and third class and so on, and a little bit wood from a deck chair from the Titanic, and some other things. Original autographs from Melvina Dean and Eva Hart, and some
ooh.
other things. And I've collected very much books about the Titanic. Uh, really,
Guilty is
yes,
charged.
yeah, and um, I have the most in German language, but now I have not more German Titanic books to buy, and now I buy the English Titanic books, and it's great. But at some time, my wife kills me. Another Titanic book? Oh no!
No, my husband says the same thing. Like, what did you buy now? I'm like,
Yes, yes. Yeah,
this
I found it
one.
harder to explain I found it harder to explain buying like items instead of books. Like, oh, I bought this new ashtray. I paid $50 for it. Like, what?
Are you
yeah,
talking
yes.
about me? I have a really ugly Titanic ashtray and a
Okay.
really
Or when
ugly table.
I bought a coat hook. I bought my coat and hat hook from the United States, and it's like, oh, this is a hat hook, and it's like, what? What'd you buy that for? Because it's awesome.
I'm trying
Ah,
to think about the oddest thing I've had to explain. I think it was probably the ashtray. But
Titanic enthusiasts can be crazy.
The one
but
thing
it's
I got
really
the most problems for was when I bought the coloring, one of the coloring books. People started yelling at me and saying like, "Oh, how dare you!" and blah blah blah.
Yeah, it's I know.
Well, mine was a Steve Hall and Bruce Beveridge coloring book.
Ah.
Ah, that's good.
I mean, you know,
Yeah.
you can't go wrong there. I don't think Bruce Beveridge is really pleased with the coloring book, but I
No,
like
Bruce loves it. He loves it.
I like it. Um, but what else, what is I don't know. I'm trying to think. I don't know. Some things I just don't explain anymore. But I mean, I feel like we should preserve some of the, things, even though odd things, because, but I have like what you said, Norbert. I have Olympic wood and Titanic coal and um, I have Titanic rust and
Mm.
Britannic wood. I have like this is Titanic coal on my
Ah, okay.
necklace.
Ah,
I
okay.
can keep it with me always. And it's a conversation starter so that, I can talk to other people about it.
Hmm.
See?
Yeah.
Um, it is. Um, they're like, what's that? I'm like, oh, it's coal from the Titanic.
Mhm. What's
They're
that
like,
sailor doll?
he thinks my sailor dolls are demonic. But I have sailor dolls from the SS United States, the MV Britannic,
Oh, the
and
Corinthia.
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 Which,
Oh, okay.
well, Corinthia was like one of those ships that it was a White Star Line ship, and then it merged with Cunard, and then it was used in the war, and then it was torpedoed and sank.
Yeah.
It's just one of those tragic ships.
I've visited the old head of Kinsale
Oh,
in 2022 during the convention of the BTS in Cove, and
oh,
we visit the old head of Kinsale, and you can see the place where the Lusitania
really?
goes get down, and
Wow,
the
that is
Lusitania Memorial, and it was a very emotional day at that time, and we have a sunny day at that time, and I my face was red after that. I have a wonderful picture of, with Senna Maloney and Commodore Warwick and me. We all
Mhm.
three were absolutely red in our face because the sun. It was fantastic. I love this picture.
Oh, I'd love to see that. I just gave a Lusitania presentation. I did it like all day long, and I think I gave six different classes, same presentation over and over again. And I took in some of my Lusitania stuff. I have one of those medals, the propaganda medals.
Mm.
Um, so they were really interested in this. Students were really interested in that, and so I gave the presentation and I showed all the pictures and everything, and they had tons of questions. And do they have the Lusitania Museum there? Were you able to go to the museum or?
Yes, we visit the Lusitania Museum, but we had not enough time this year, and it was a short visit, very short
Mhm.
visit. Yeah, we must go to the gala dinner after after that, and we have not enough time. We have not enough time. Okay, the next time when I will be in Old Head of Kinsale and so on, I will visit the museum for longer.
I was really surprised they asked me so many questions about it. I just did it like last week, and there were so many questions I couldn't even answer them all. I was like, wow, I had no idea the students would be, that interested in the Lusitania.
It's a
It
very
really
interesting story, the Lusitania.
mhm.
it
Very
was.
interesting.
It was. Because I had I did a slideshow presentation, so I had a picture of the warning that, was put in the US newspapers and everything. And then I had,
Yeah.
you know, all that kind of stuff. And they were just like, wow, Um, and I was like, this is why, you learn about history, especially ships. They're surprised that ships have that much to do with history. They just think I'm the crazy ship woman.
Yeah.
They do. They're like, what are you going to talk about today, Miss Strasberg? I'm like,
I'm very interested in other ships too. The Lusitania at first, and for me, it's as German, the Wilhelm Gustloff. It was the
Ooh.
biggest tragedy in ship sinkings. There died nearly 9,000 people on board, with over thousand or 1,500 children on board.
wow.
Many babies were killed, and from nearly 10,000 people, only 1,000 survived. It is very sad.
I need to read up on that one. I'm slowly learning. I know Titanic and Olympic and Britannic, and I'm straight, learning about Lusitania. Maybe that's the next one I should learn about.
Mm.
I'm getting there.
Or the craziest ship sinking in the history, Andrea Doria. So
Mm.
crazy. These two ships seen each other, and you passed right, no, you passed left, and bust. It's so crazy.
It is crazy.
Yes.
I want to say hi to Brit who's watching. Hi, Brit. Um, yeah, ships have played a really interesting role in history over the years. Especially Titanic too. I help out in a lot of history classes, and so I have like a slideshow that I refer to a lot, um, when Titanic collides with history. And so I take it all the way back to the Civil War. Interesting little facts that involve the Titanic and stuff like that. Um, and if the Titanic hadn't sank, like a lot of safety measures wouldn't have been put in place that affect the future. Um, you know, the past, the present, the future, and we're still talking about it. You know, even with modern day technology that's used to, uh, you know, for deep sea exploration. That's why it's still in today's news. Uh, I think it's just really interesting. We could talk about it all day, I guess, but um, it's still relevant. Um, and that's why we're still getting together and talking about it. And people are still writing books about it, and people are still making documentaries about it, and people are still going to the wreck and exploring it, and new technologies being developed, and you've got 3D models and 3D scans and uh, you know uh, what are those virtual reality video games being made of it. I don't know if it'll ever not be relevant. I mean, what do you guys think?
Yeah, I think the legend of the Titanic will never die.
Hmm.
Absolutely not. They will never die. And you know, it was in 1912, the first tragedy that published all over the world. It was
Hmm.
sensation. It was in all newspapers, and you can watch it in the cinemas um, at that time. And this is a legend because the Titanic was called practically unsinkable, and
Hmm.
going to the first voyage and sinking sink after 5 days. It is unbelievable story, and it's I think the legend of the Titanic will never die.
I
Well,
And
for
think
me, what I thought was interesting, and especially Norbert, when you brought it up, something clicked when you said you first saw the Barbara Stanwyck Titanic movie. For me, it was the James Cameron Titanic movie that got me into it. So it just seems like, especially if kids learn about it, there's something about it, just the grandeur, the just the whole story just grabs you, and I think as long as people are still talking or writing books or any of the documentary, even some of the older movies, because I remember after I saw the Cameron Titanic movie, I saw A Night to Remember, and it was still like I was like, whoa, this is fantastic. It's just as good. To me, I was like, this is just as good. Both movies. And then with you with Raise the Titanic, Joe, I mean, it's like certain things, it just seems to always pop up. And then once people ask questions about it, they're like, wow, this happened and this happened. Or, you had, everybody has different things that they like to talk about it. So something will grab you, and it just people just get drawn in different eras too, different movies, different books, different. So yeah, I agree with Norbert. It just won't stop, and good for the better, I think.
I have a spoiler. In April, during the convention of the BTS, we have Audrey Dalton. She's the actor from the 1953 movie with Stanwyck and Robert Wagner, and a dream
Hmm.
comes true for me. I will meet her for the first time. She is now 93 years old, and it will be fantastic to meet her, and a dream comes true.
She is a very sweet lady. She
Yeah,
really is.
good.
Hmm.
She's one in a million for sure.
Good to
Um,
hear.
yes, I'm sure that will be an amazing experience for you. Um, and for everybody who gets to meet her, she's just an amazing lady. Um, and I hope that just goes wonderfully for everyone. Uh, but did you have anything else you wanted to share with us, Norbert? We just really appreciate you joining us tonight. I know it's hard for you to stay up this late.
Um, I think nothing more to share. I have some questions now for me, or
Oh yeah, from the
yeah,
Yeah. Does anybody watching have any questions?
yeah, send in your questions. Norbert doesn't bite. He's a very nice
Everybody's just
man.
been kind of checking in.
Yeah, I think Norbert, we've known each other now for years and years now, I
If you
think.
guys
yeah,
Or
have any
I
questions,
think
you're welcome
yeah.
to put them in the chat or in the comments. We've got a few watchers. Or if you guys are not watching live, you're welcome to message them to us and we'll make sure Norbert
hmm
gets them. Like I said, I've shared this all throughout Facebook and people can watch it and rewatch it. Um, and then I'm sure you don't mind answering some questions and in the comment section, we can do that as well.
Okay.
Um, but this has been so much fun. Does anybody have any questions? Now is a good time to put them in the comment section. Um, let's see. I think everybody's just been intently watching.
Yeah.
Um, this
It's
has
okay.
been so much fun. Um,
I really appreciate to be your guest today, and I hope it was not the last time.
No, not at
No, no.
all.
Yes.
anytime at all. If you have
Yeah.
any special announcements you'd like to make, or if you have a new book, or if you just want to hang out sometime, you're more than welcome. Um, Dan and I are always here. And if you just want to share any news at all, you're always welcome on Deep Conversations or the 401.
Okay.
Um, we're always here. Uh, but we're going to go ahead and probably wrap things up so you can carry on with your evening before it gets too late. Um, but yeah, I don't see any questions coming in at the moment, and that's okay. Um, but Norbert, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
It
you
has been
so
an
much.
absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
And we want to thank everybody who watched this afternoon or this evening, wherever you guys are. Um, and hopefully we will see you again soon. This has been Deep Conversations, episode 28.
On the
Um,
28th. 28 on the
on the
28th.
28th of February, with special guest Norbert Zimmermann. Thanks everybody for watching. Have a great evening. Thank you. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.